Welcome to Why on Earth, where we search for understanding of our world today, meaning to events near and far, and the purpose behind them. Today's episode, what's ahead in 2025? Here's a New Year's prediction for you. The world's computer systems will lose track of time and universally fail, causing a crash of electronic systems in buildings, utilities, banking, transportation, communications, governments, and armed forces around planet Earth. That event was to happen at the stroke of midnight on January 1, 2000. Though the prediction never came true, the effort to prevent its occurrence caused an enormous amount of strength, and approximately $500 billion was spent in the effort that was to save us from our dependence on computer-controlled electronics. A quarter of a century later, any number of persons, groups, organizations, institutions still attempt to forecast what they expect to happen on the verge of a new year. Many of these predictions are of little consequence, but some inspire drastic action and cost billions, even trillions in various currencies. The intent of these prognosticators and visionaries in offering predictions for each new year can be to educate people about a matter to provide hope for the best and preparation for the worst, to manipulate people through fear to their advantage, to gain in some way, especially financially, to make a name for themselves, to obtain power and prestige, status, or reputation. Whatever the motivation, here's what most expect in 2025. In observing the 2024 trend of electing right-leaning governments in the West and the expansion of adversarial alliances in the East, various developments and scenarios have been predicted. Donald Trump's re-election in the United States will mean a dramatic departure from ESG, environmental, social justice, governance, and DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, and globalism. Domestically, his administration is set to work against the woke movement that has dominated all aspects of Western society in recent years. Mr. Trump has stated his desire to annex or otherwise appropriate Canada, Greenland, Panama. He insists that NATO countries should be more self-reliant in matters of defense and claims to have the ability to end current conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East. Among other intentions advertised by the incoming U.S. president, there will be a sealing of both the southern and northern borders from millions of immigrants who want to gain access. A promised mass deportation of those who entered illegally in the past half-decade. Tariffs on imports of up to 25% for allies and 60% for adversarial countries like China. With respect to the European Union, EU, mainstay governments like Germany and Austria, France have faltered recently. Others like Poland and Hungary are thumbing their nose at the EU's economic, military, and immigration policies. Defense of Ukraine has taken a huge toll economically and endangered the continent, especially with NATO advanced weaponry now being supplied and used against Russia. Russia has responded with threats of utilizing nuclear weapons to restore their advantage in the tight confines of Eastern Europe. The BRICS group of nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and many more that have joined recently, has expanded to include half the world's population and 40% of its wealth. Two of its members, Russia and China, are constantly maneuvering to expand territory within their regions. When predictions are made about world economies for 2025, consideration is paid to three aspects: recovery from inflation, growth of the green economy, and emerging digital markets. There is a consensus that inflation in most countries will be higher than in the past year. Additionally, there is widespread expectation that prices for basic products and services will rise even faster than in 2024. Taxes of all types, income, sales, property, will continue to increase, and unemployment will exceed previous years' rates in many nations. Massive investment in the green economy will continue due to policies from such international organizations as the United Nations, through sponsorship of the Conference of the Parties, or COP, World Bank, World Trade Organization, and the World Economic Forum. The digital economy, cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and decentralized finance may evolve further, with governments feeling compelled to implement more regulation. Some believe the digital economy will be valued at 20 trillion US dollars in 2025, but relatively few of the world's population will be able to access it. In recent years, there have been ominous projections about developments in science and technology and how they will be used in the future. More forecasts have emerged in the new year in the areas of human health, energy, artificial intelligence. After the COVID experience only a few years ago, there are predictions of a new pandemic in 2025. In its 77th annual assembly on May 27th to June 1st, 2024, the World Health Organization, WHO, met with 194 member nations for the express purpose of gaining support for the ability to implement international health regulations, IHR, that would guide national pandemic responses around the world. Successful countries and economies need energy to fuel growth, and the UN, with its annual COP commitments, are still focused on developing green energy and abandoning fossil fuels. Both green and traditional industries are motivated to work against each other with the massive amounts of money available in energy production. So the debate on climate change and what should be done about it will rage on. As in Y2K, computing-related issues will dominate private and public concern. In recent times, we have seen cyber attacks on critical infrastructure, energy grids, financial systems, military networks, and those will likely continue. Such electronic sabotage is a grave concern, but there is even a greater worry. Artificial intelligence is predicted to become more integrated into daily life with advancements in healthcare, autonomous vehicles, and language models impacting industries and employment. But there is a darker side to developments in AI. Safety concerns with the development of artificial general intelligence, AGI. AI safety involves the risk that AI systems will begin to behave in misaligned ways that are outside of human control, perhaps even eventually posing an existential threat to humanity. With at least 18 competing models at the start of 2025, it is unlikely that AI safety will take priority over profit. So many predictions have been made for this year. As 2025 progresses, some will seem to come to fruition, and many will turn out to be completely wrong. To accurately predict the general flow of how events will transpire in a year would take a great amount of influence and control over people, places, and things, something no human being possesses. Only God has the ability to control circumstances and outcomes when he chooses to. Without referencing the multitudinous prophecies of the Bible that have been fulfilled and are still yet to be fulfilled, we should consider God's statement in Isaiah 46, verses 9 and 10. Remember the former things of old, for I am God and there is no other. I am God and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, from ancient time, things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Relying on what God has revealed about the future is to put your trust in the more sure word of prophecy, instead of the educated guess or guesses human experts come up with for each new year. I thank you for watching Why on Earth. Please be sure to view our other videos here, and you are welcome to visit our website at whyonearth.ca to access spiritual, social, material, and other resources to assist you in your life's journey. Goodbye for now.